Thank you, Joby, for helping me with this today. I'm really looking forward to supplying a year in review.
Want to start up with New Year's Eve?
Absolutely. It's so much fun and the fireworks look so good.
Then we went to the crossing at Pirie West Primary School.
Oh yes. It's a big thing that we had to do. We get a lot of flooding in that particular area. That's worked out a treat for those. And then the school's gone on, put signage up and also turned around and put in a garden in that area.
The old library was renovated in preparation for Uni Hub Spencer Golf.
Absolutely. You know, from the Upper Spencer Golf's point of view, the Uni Hub is jewel in their crown, and the Uni Hub itself is just breaking new records every day.
We're moving on to February.
And big month, it really sort of started everything going.
The asphalt was replaced in Florence and David Street. It was certainly something that needed fixing.
But wasn't it done so quickly?
It was.
It's just a turnaround, bang, done, no disruption.
Get the council staff work with T-Lab on the playground.
Today we've actually got this beautiful drained soft floor under our playground. Just makes it so much safer for our children.
And in Christabrook they had a new basketball half court installed. Obviously that's something that their community was looking for, and happily we can say it got done.
March was fantastic. We actually opened up our sports precinct and we had an AFL JLT game as well.
Because it almost happened straight away, didn't it? We unveiled it, we opened it, and the game was pretty well on.
She was on there, you know, and 45 degrees, much similar to what we've been having just recently. We were on display to the rest of Australia that day and across the world. It was worth around $600,000 in economic benefit to our community, that one show. But then to win the facility award afterwards, I mean, that's just fantastic.
So that was the South Australian Cricket Association Community Facility of the Year Award.
Absolutely.
Then we would have rolled around to Clean Up Australia Day, which has always got a really big community involvement.
We took 2 truckloads of stuff from just the Memorial Park. Again, staff were turning up. It was a nice feeling to sort of do that straight after a big day on the Saturday.
And then we had a lovely update for the fishers to the region.
Well, they've been waiting for Port David's jetty. It's been burnt down more times than I don't know what. But it was one of the fantastic things that we've done there, and it's actually structured it now so that land-based anglers can go out there and fish.
April was the Masters Games.
Oh mate, wasn't that fantastic? Was it 1,100 athletes?
Yeah, it was 1,100 athletes, more than 1,000 athletes came to town and stayed and spent and ate and drank and enjoyed themselves and enjoyed the Southern Flinders, and it was a really successful event.
Some of our sporting associations were actually picking up the ball and getting involved with it. So, but I think that there was some other things that we actually got a grant for CCTV through our IT department and Darren Stevens. But it is important for our community to make sure that we're safe and we have this CCTV.
And that was almost a $100,000 grant. But our IT department really, they pushed that, didn't they? So they did a fantastic job.
Yeah, they did it themselves.
And the Main Street medians, the openings and the U-turn lanes were probably marked clearer than ever before.
Something that had to be done. Probably didn't go down as well as we expected it would, a joke, but it's done now, and I think we're all doing the right thing by it. Also, in regards to community consultation, the Port Pirie Regional Council have decided amongst itself that we would have more consultation throughout this next 12 months going into our budget. We went to all of the little towns. We had up to 50 people in halls.
Your Life, Your Say is as a new initiative to the region.
Well, the Deputy Mayor, Alan Zernick, sort of was a spearhead in that one, wasn't it?
Absolutely, yeah.
You know, what Your Life, Your Say means is that, you know, you can be taught how to, and there's computers available to you to actually log in and put power of attorney and all that sort of stuff in on your family.
And also the Red Hill Museum, they had quite a bit of work done to it.
Their Progress Association out there is fantastic. Small group of people shoulder a lot of the work out that way and give us good advice as well. So thank you very much for their hard work.
May was a busy month.
The war graves, yeah, there was something that we've been working alongside the RSL a fair whack for, and it is really an important part of our life that we pay tribute for those who fought for us, and we're working very hard, and there's a lot more to come in that war grave area as well.
And the feds came through. Rowan Ramsey was very happy to announce that we were awarded, this council area was awarded $1 million in drought funding.
Yeah, Councillor Wilson drove very hard through that campaigning, looking to lobbying the government to make sure that we were in, because we missed out on the first round.
And Moffat Road Lagoon had some works.
We're always getting some works on that Moffat Road Lagoon, aren't we?
South Australia's been a forefront in women's rights, and women voting was 125 years in May. That was celebrated by a plaque in Memorial Park.
So I gave it to Councillor Jackson and Councillor Gillen, and both those girls picked it up and run with it and turned it into a really nice event.
Speaking of anniversaries, Red Hill and Kalunga had 150 years anniversaries. We had new furniture installed at Flinders View Park.
And there's a lot more to come with that, with amphitheatres and all that sort of stuff.
Council council staff competed against other council staff. That was against 18 other councils.
Yes.
Yeah, so quite well done by the team.
Yeah.
You made a presentation to Year 6 students from St Mark's.
Oh, that was the highlight of my month. Those guys are fantastic. So many hard questions come from those Year 6s. June was interesting for us. We actually had a jobs fair in Port Pirie.
It's, I think, the first time we've had that sort of thing.
It is. RDA and Lisa Brock and all that sort of stuff put it on, and I think it was a fantastic thing, particularly seeing that we've got so many opportunities coming up.
Roundabout works?
We had some beautiful garden areas growing very, very high in those areas, and they do hamper vision and all that sort of stuff. So sometimes you have a little bit of a payoff of what looks beautiful and what looks practical.
KeySape visited primary schools throughout the region as part of their partnership with Pirie Council.
You know, we've actually been working really hard to see where the kids fit in with recycling and so forth, and it's become a part of their curriculum.
Speaking of schools, Council invited all of the schools in the region to have a plaque placed at the sports precinct.
The biggest thing is one of the things that I think will remind future generations of where we're at this particular time.
July!
And all of a sudden we've got an SANFL and a back-to-back country championships. First time ever. Wasn't it fantastic?
A lot of people in town. And then we had the SANFL match. That really capped off that weekend, didn't it?
I think so, and it just goes to show that we can do events well.
Almost 5,000 people attended that country championships and the SANFL match, and there was almost $500,000 of economic stimulus brought into the region, so it was fantastic, very, very successful event. Bungama Solar Project was announced.
The big projects that we're having with renewable energy are just going to be a game changer for the construction stage, the first couple of years. During that particular month also we had our first meeting with our regional community action group, and what it's designed at is for us to connect with our regional community. The Deputy Mayor and myself actually got that going, and there's a lot of good stuff moving forward for our regional community.
Bus stops had a bit of a safety facelift.
We have to keep up with the times, what's happening in the other councils, and adhere to best practices, and thankfully again our staff is on board with that.
It's one of those forgotten services, I think, like the people who drive the buses and the people who look after that route, and it just runs like clockwork.
Thank the Camp family for what they do.
National Tree Day was towards the end of the month.
And it's one of the things that the staff do every year, so they're really dedicated to it, and again they supply all the safety gear to the trees and all that sort of stuff, and get out there and make sure that we green this space.
August was a month where we went out and we really spoke to the community.
You do an actual budget, you need to go out and present that to your community so that everybody has a chance to talk to it. By law we only have to do one, but we stepped out this year and we did about 5 or 6 of them around the community and let everybody know.
It's always a highlight on the calendar, the Crystal Brook Show.
Yeah, it's pretty big, isn't it? Thank you very much to the Crystal Brook community for doing that, and that sort of signifies the start of our show grouping. And
then the silos were lit up. We had the Illuminat travelling light show.
Illuminat came back to us. They did it once before, but it was one of those interesting things. We had some Aboriginal stories, and then we had some stories about how we went through growth and cereal cropping and all this sort of stuff. It was a really good night. So September, Joe, this is the area that I think that sort of suits you the most, because you're interested in everything electric, and but you also looked at a lot of work with school kids that you can do. So can you tell us a bit about that?
Yeah, so in September, Council, we partnered with John Pirie Secondary School, spoke with students about what we do at the waste transfer station and what happens with our waste. As a result of that, we had a group of students take a tour through the waste transfer station. A pair of students developed a video to demonstrate where our waste does go. Also that month, Council launched a brand new website.
If anybody hasn't visited our website, have a shot at it. It's very, very user-friendly.
There's an app that you can get on your mobile phone. It's for Android and iPhones, and it is called My Local Services. You go on there and you will be able to get loads of information about Council, when rubbish is picked up. But most importantly, if you have any issue that you'd like reported to Council, get straight on the app, it comes through immediately and it gets acted on as soon as possible.
During October, we actually created a survey to see how we were dealing with as far as our communication.
And it was school holiday, so it was Kidtober, so we had plenty of activities going on around the region, including many at the public library. The road and the footpath was worked on around the Port Pirie RSL, and of course the Smelters Picnic, where Council had their information display, and of course it's just the widely appreciated and enjoyed event by the community. November was a big month. The footpath project was initiated by the Crystal Brook Kindy, and Council were able to come forward with a small grant of money which allowed the kids to visit the local hospital, Both the aged patients at the hospital and the kids are enjoying immensely. Council won a Best Practice Major Award for its Health and Wellbeing program. Grain from the new ADM grain site on Abattoirs Road is loaded onto the vessel Super Lydia, and it's the first time in many years that grain has exited the Port Pirie ports. Pirie Meats lodged their development application for a $72 million abattoir near Warnertown, and Council relaunched the Certificate of Merit Outstanding Community Service Award.
December. Well, over the last couple of years, Joby, we've been looking at this gallery and suggesting that we should still keep it as an A-class gallery. Constant 22-degree temperature that's kept in that building. And we have a lot of original artworks and all that sort of stuff at the Port Pirie Regional Council. Our exhibitions are going to get better, stronger. First, we'll bring in more people to our area.
And of course, as always, every year the staff put up Christmas decorations in the streets.
I really love seeing those lights because it starts the season.
Yeah.
Doesn't it? And staff do a great job putting them all up.
Other things that happen throughout the year, and this happens quite regularly, is citizenship ceremonies.
It's one of the great privileges I have as a mayor to be able to give citizenship to a person moving to this country. We've done quite a number this year.
Throughout the year, we've had multiple green and hard waste removal days. So we've had days where people could go to the waste transfer station, get rid of all of their green waste, all of their hard rubbish free of charge.
Yep.